Welcome to Rich Thoughts, Poor Jokes, the podcast where meaningful conversations about mental wealth meet a healthy dose of humor. Each week, your hosts, Dr. Roxy Riefkohl-Cook and Dr. Stephanie Ellis, two of Houston's most respected doctors of counseling and psychology, coach you on the path to mental wealth. They will not just inspire, but entertain you while empowering you to elevate your life.
Welcome back to Rich Thoughts, Poor Jokes, a mostly serious podcast where two mental health professionals are here to teach you all about
having security, freedom, and luxury in every area of your life.
So today, we're going to teach you about how to have brain wealth.
Brain wealth is cute. Isn't it cute how we make everything work?
That one took another hot second to get that title. But
what do we mean?
What we mean is that, well, when we finished our work series, we realized there was so much more to it. And a huge part of it is executive functioning skills. And so we realized we really need a whole series about executive functioning.
Absolutely.
So, and we're very well aware that this is a lot of information. And we want to answer your questions. So if there's stuff that comes up, we definitely want you to reach out to us. So why executive functioning?
Well, I know we kind of got the idea about doing it when we were doing the work series, and executive functioning is going to help. And doesn't it sound like it's going to help?
It does.
Because it's called executive functioning.
It does.
But that's not what it means at all. And it's going to help people in every area of their life, right? It's going to help at work. It helps in your relationships. It helps with, getting from your bed to your office in the morning. It helps with parenting. It helps with everything. And so it's going to be useful for everybody to hear about. And listen, this is going to be the briefest, most practical touch that we could possibly do on executive functioning. I think you could do a whole podcast. I don't mean an episode. I mean, like Rich Thoughts, executive functioning. I mean, it could be the whole thing, right? So we're going to try to just do this in 4 episodes like we usually do, and we're just going to kind of gloss over it. But we're not going to do it. We're going to, if you're familiar with executive functioning from, the internet or TikTok or stuff like that, I think we're going to do a little bit better job of that for you. What that means is, here I'm just giving a disclaimer, that it might get a little nerd speak a couple of times as we're going through here, but stay with us because it's going to be worth it. We want to give you something that's more than what you can get on an Insta Reel.
You bet. And even though it's called executive functioning, and we're bringing this to you after we've been talking about work, we do want to know executive functioning is for everyone in every area of your life, just like you said. I said that if you want to make money, save money, stay out of jail, go to a cocktail party where there's more than one conversation going on, and you want to pay attention, you want to have a job, keep a job, advance in your job, be really good and feel at peace in life.
Or function. If you want to function well, it's executive functioning skills.
True. Yeah, let's focus on the function part and not as much as the executive. But the executive part can be, a lot of people do think it's only for work, right? Just because of the term. So I'm going to ask everybody, instead of thinking of the word executive, just think anybody out there that's trying to execute. How about that?
You mean like to do something, not like to someone.
That is correct.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Execute
a task.
Sorry, I should have followed up with that. That's good. All right. So, Dr. E, what is executive functioning? What does it allow us to do?
All right, I'll just go ahead and give a definition.
Yep.
So here, we'll start in with the nerd speak now. Here we go. Executive functioning is the set of mental skills that enables goal-directed behavior that involves the organization of thoughts and purposeful activities.
Yes.
Say it one more time.
Yes.
The set of mental skills that enable goal-directed behavior involving the organization of thoughts and purposeful activities.
Beautiful.
Okay, so you can see how that's like, to me, it is a purposeful activity to get from my bed to the office. There's probably 25 purposeful activities I need to do in there. And the better I can do them, the better my commute is.
Yes.
Okay.
And we said earlier, in every area of your daily lives, right? So not just work, but performance at school, performance at home, relational, your emotional well-being, all of these areas. Okay. So I will say, we tried to ask you, there's lots of really great information on the www. But we also want you to be very careful to, when you look something up or you are concerned about something, that you trying to learn about something, that you're careful about, what you see and so forth. So there is the way that they define it. I saw some cute ways and areas, though, I have seen on the internet, and they talk a little bit about executive functioning being like air traffic control in your brain. So a system that's working together to help you accomplish things. So air traffic control system working together to help you get safely where you need to be.
And this is why it's going to take us a few episodes to talk about this, is because we're not just talking about one thing. Executive functioning is a set of skills. We're going to try to go through it. And then there's some basic ones, and you kind of put them together into more advanced ones. So it's a system. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So what will these mental skills let us do? Focus on important things. Identify kind of what's important to prioritize. Plan and act in the service of our future selves. Yeah. So the ability to delay gratification and to sort of like do the hard thing when you would rather do the not hard thing, and to be effective in putting your attention in a place and staying on that thing, and changing when you need to, and recognizing when you're not being effective. And the more things I say, the more listeners you are thinking, oh my gosh, you guys are just talking about ADHD. And when you talk about it like this, I'm pretty sure I have it. And also, that's what the internet is going to tell you. So a couple things to be careful with if you go do executive functioning searching on the internet. One is they will convince you have some kind of neurodivergence, no matter what. And if you do, welcome. You're welcome. And two is they will tell you this is how you fix that. And that will not be accurate. And so, as frustrating as that is, we also will not be giving you just a bullet-pointed list of things to do differently. If you could figure out everything to do differently and then implement that all and then improve your efficiency and success, you would have done that already. All right, so we're going to tell you the path to figure out how to make those changes, rather than saying, these are the 5 steps to your executive functioning future. Okay. So there's some bad news about executive functioning skills. They live in your brain, and your brain got made by 2 people's DNA, and that's the brain you have. So it's pretty genetic. Your executive functioning it's pretty genetic, but there's a couple of caveats to that. Okay, so first of all, the fact that your level of executive functioning, no matter what it is, and listen, it's not going to be high across the board or low across the board. Everybody, as they listen over the next few weeks, is going to hear some places where they feel like, no problem, I got it, and like, I need help, right? So that's going to be everybody. And me telling you that it is basically genetic, the reason I am doing that is not to make you feel hopeless, right? Well, because we do enough of that. We do enough of the shaming, right? And so it's just to say, actually, you don't need to feel shame. You don't need to feel shame about being short. Being short's going to come up a few times. It reminds me of executive functioning because I'm short, which listeners and not viewers don't know. I'm intending to take away the shame here. Like, you are who you are and you have the brain you have, okay? That doesn't mean that you don't need to take responsibility for what it is that you bring to the table. And so we're going to keep talking about that. Responsibility, not shame, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so there's a little bit more good news. One piece is people are usually not maximizing the executive functioning skills they have, right? So if you're worried, if you're feeling like, oh no, memory, focus, that kind of thing that you're talking about, I don't have it. You're probably not maximizing what you do have, and figuring out how to accommodate yourself is usually possible and pretty much makes things okay. Right. And I'm coming at that from a place, and you are too. Often we're talking with people who are very, very, very far down the executive functioning normal bell curve, right? We're talking about people who are standard deviations away from what's average. And if we can take people who have clinically diagnosable problems with executive functioning and help them build a life that that maximizes what they have and accommodates what they need, and they can function, so can you, listener.
Absolutely.
All right.
This is probably a terrible place to put this plug, but I'm just going to say it.
Is it time for the therapy plug?
It is.
Here we go.
We are not against medication. There are medications that people need, and in relation to when we speak about ADHD and people that are struggling with an ability to focus, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not the end all, and that's why we want you, no matter what, if you say, well, I've got it down now because I just take my pill and I've got this down now and it's working and so forth. Learn some of these skills, learn to accommodate in other areas and ways. It will just continue to enhance your life.
Okay, that wasn't a therapy plug, but I'm going to make one, which goes like this. Executive functioning coaching is all the rage. That's something you'll also find on the internet when you start searching this up. And not that we don't do it. We even do that. But we come at it from a therapy place where the intention is for you to not need us in the future. So if you are going to pursue something like executive functioning coaching or really coaching for anything, I want listeners to be thinking, and when they're investigating how they want to go about that, is this something that is going to make me dependent? If you are, if you're going to have a coach that's you can talk to them all the time, you can text them all the time, it builds a dependency that's kind of part of the business model.
Right. It is.
And there's a way to do executive functioning coaching or therapy that is related to executive functioning that's not intended to
dependent.
Rope you in and keep you paying the bills. Okay.
That was a great therapy plug. Okay, so we're going to teach you. We want to teach you what these executive functioning skills are, be able to identify them, look at your own executive functioning skills, your strengths, areas for growth. I like using the word superpower because they are and can be seen as superpowers, as well as a way to continue to maximize what you already have and the superpowers that you use and utilize on a daily basis, and then still be able to build in some of the areas that you need to.
Okay, so I can't go on. I have to address the word superpower.
Oh, I don't like that.
Well, okay. Ned Hallowell, who is one of like the premier writers and speakers and everything and researchers about ADHD, does use it, uses it very specifically. I don't mind it in that sense. I think what I want to say though is as we're making the therapy plug, if you find actually that you do have some superpowers in here, that is awesome for you. And if you over the next couple of weeks have a sense of more and more despair, like what are you people talking about? This actually just is a disability. Why can't I function? Okay, we're in a territory where we might be looking at something diagnosable. Most people who are in the category of a diagnosable neurodivergence kind of thing aren't feeling like it's a superpower. And I just want to make sure that we are.
Definitely.
You don't have to feel that way. We're talking about everybody right now. Right. So some people are going to be in that superpower
realm. Are you surprised
realm.
at all, though, that I like that word?
No, not even a little bit.
Validation queen. Validation queen. Okay. And to reiterate, though, this idea that it can, and when we start talking about some of these things and you're like, no, that's frustrating. And, or if you're a parent and you say, my kid doesn't do hardly any of that. they're incapable. Come stay with us for a day and you will see it. I do want to also do a shout out and in relation to validating the teens, the young adults, the young people.
Shout out to the under 26 crowd.
That we're begging you, especially parents, please give some grace in this area.
Come?
Because your prefrontal cortex is still developing.
What? Your brain's not done. You're not maxed out. Your brain's not done.
It's immature. It's supposed to be. It's still developing. So, you will find that this is going to be tougher for you. And you're also going to find that how you respond is also possibly going to look different, right? You're getting bursts of dopamine. And this burst of dopamine, like a reward system, is going to make you impulsive. That's a thing.
I'm going to say one more thing about why especially parents might need to have some grace with their kids.
Say it.
If they're your bio kids.
Oh,
it didn't come from nowhere, my friends. That's it. It didn't come from nowhere, my friends.
That's right. It is very right. And during this time period, there, in that age developmental stage, I mean, there's a lot of pressures, a lot of new pressures, right? So there's new social pressures, there's new academic pressures. And especially in this day and age, the expectations are huge. You're over here saying, please get more independence, or I want more independence, but why can't my brain keep up? And so we're telling you why. There is a why. Now, that's also not an excuse to say, forget it. I'm just going to play video games and eat Cheetos and sit on my couch and, not go to school or
be high. It sounds like being high. I just realized. Okay. Or being high.
So we want you, and parents, we do want you to help your kids learn some of these skills, but there needs to be some patience.
Responsibility, not shame.
There it is again. Excellent. Okay. Dr. Ellis, with executive functioning, there are some things that work and there's some things that don't work. Let's start with the what doesn't work. Well, shame. There it is.
Hey, shame doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Interestingly, shame, and I don't really know if there's sort of like a neural mechanism that's working here, but it's weird that shame almost always takes you back exactly to the behavior about which you feel shame. It's not like I feel shame for eating Oreos and then that drives me to binging Netflix. It doesn't. It somehow drives me back to binging Oreos. Like there's something there, you guys. Yeah. So shame doesn't work.
Absolutely. It also doesn't help to just view yourself or your child as lazy. I mean, again, back to the shaming.
I'm not 100% sure that laziness is a real thing, by the way. Should I say something about it? Or I could just...
No, do it.
We'll do it another time.
No, do it.
Okay, yeah. I'll say it really quick, is laziness is really just an energy management strategy, right? We live in a world where we have... the world is strange, the 2025 world, right? And if you messed around exercising or wasting your energy on all these things that we spend our energy on today, if you did that 10,000 years ago, you'd be dead, right? So the fact that you try, like that your brain is saying, let's not put in more effort than is absolutely necessary, that's normal. That's healthy. It doesn't work very well
Mhm.
because of the world that we live in, but there's nothing wrong with you.
I like also utilizing that word normal, because that's what happens too, is that when you feel like you have a struggle or inability to accomplish one of these, tasks, then if you put everybody into a category, that's not going to be healthy. Also, doing nothing about it maybe is not good. Lecturing, criticizing parents, partners.
Oh, partners.
Oh, that. Like, can you please close the refrigerator door? Close the refrigerator door. Are you ever going to learn to close the refrigerator door? Can you not hear the beep? Okay. Maybe that's personal.
It's happening all over the place.
Okay.
Right. And listen, it's like that thing that you thought was real cute when you were first in love and your brain was all high on love chemicals and your partner was adorable and their fart smelled like roses to you. Okay, well, now they won't close the door.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah,
Okay.
I get that in the office a lot.
So, what doesn't work?
There's this one specific concept I want to make sure that we hit because it's also something that's going to come up if people are on the internet, which is grit. So grit had its day, you guys. It really did. It got into the culture. It got into some school curricula. We got some workbooks and stuff. Oh my gosh, the idea was so nice. The idea about grit was that if you can get yourself in the right mindset and you can do some certain things, you can build the ability to work hard, to stay at something, to organize, prioritize. The idea was like you can kind of make yourself have more executive functioning skills, or like you don't need them because you could just grit it. And it turns out that grit is not grit. Grit is basically what we call trait conscientiousness. And it's kind of just a way of saying some people, by virtue of the brains that they were born with, have more in the way of executive functioning than other people. So it turns out not really to be something that we can develop. And so can I say skinny running bitches on the podcast? Okay, we'll cut it if we can't say it. We'll cut this part. But listen, there's these people and they get up in the morning and they go running at 5 o'clock in the morning and they be skinny and they be proud. And then they want to tell me I should just use my grit to get up and go running at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I'll be skinny and proud too. And
that is a lie.
They have a different nervous system than I have. And rats are this way too. There are some rats, for example, that get like endorphins. That thing. Do you know that not everybody gets endorphins from exercising? If that is you and me, we're okay. The nervous system rewards them for getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and going running. Not all of them. Some of you guys are out there pounding the pavement and it's real hard for you. And I'm not talking about you. Okay. So we have a tendency when something is, let's say, doable for us, and then another person's not doing it, we have a tendency to think it's doable for you too. You're just not doing it. Grit it out. Right? And so that's not what we're talking about for the next 4 weeks.
Not.
Okay.
There's another word too.
Ew, is it willpower?
Yeah.
Okay, willpower is basically a lie, my friends. We'll talk. I think we're going to talk about this more than just right now. But suffice it to say, if willpower is a thing at all, and it might not be at all, but if it is, you have way less of it than you think you do. And so we're going to talk about how to sort of maximize maybe what we do have or capture something that's sort of like willpower, but this idea that you can just choose and then ignore everything that your brain and body are doing and telling you. Well, listen, you're just gonna find yourself doing the things that you didn't want to do,
Eat
or
more
not,
Oreos.
or not doing the things that you did want to do. You're just gonna find yourself doing that.
Okay, so everyone is really joining us because they want to know then, okay, what does work? What works with executive functioning?
This is possibly my favorite moment in all of the executive functioning stuff that we're going to talk about, which is the number one maximizer that people are not utilizing is getting enough good sleep.
Yes.
Yay, sleep. You guys know I love sleep. All right, so across the board. Now, we'll talk about maximizing a little bit more specific to kind of each category that we're going to talk about, but getting enough good quality sleep across the board. In fact, if you take just a group of random adults and you give them 6 hours of sleep a night instead of 8 hours of sleep a night for it's either 5 or 6 days. The next day, they basically all meet criteria for ADHD.
Oh.
At least in terms of sort of the symptoms they're displaying that day.
Yeah,
So all right, so sleep.
yes.
And then we'll tell you some more. And I know I just got finished talking about, how grit is sort of not a thing and how willpower is sort of not a thing. I do want to say your mindset does matter, though. I don't want us going into this completely deflated. And maybe you remember this because we talked about this when we talked about work resilience. And we said dispositional resilience is that it's that commitment, control, and challenge. So the more we can be committed to ourselves growing this area, the more we can focus on what it is that we can control and sort of like let go of the stuff that we can't control. And the more that we accept the difficulties in our life as challenges to be overcome, the better we're going to go. All right. So mindset does matter. So as we start this journey on executive functioning, we want to be getting enough sleep and we want to be having the right mindset.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we are going to teach you and share with you other specific things to do to maximize each area of your executive functioning. But we also want to make sure that you hear us say that it's going to be trial and error. And you are going to have to customize for yourself.
Oh my gosh, I love that word so much.
And practice some of these things, right? Until they really become a thing.
I don't love that word as much, but I did love the word customize. That was great. So as we move into, before we get to specifics, again, this is something that is going to be all the way across the board, is if you have any willpower, and I said maybe you only have a little bit, okay? Let's assume that you have about 30 seconds worth of willpower, maybe per day. So we want to use that to set up our lives in a way that makes the things that we want to do easier, cheaper, and better. This is what I mean by that. Why do we not all drive electric cars? Politics aside. Because when they rolled out, they didn't make them easier and cheaper and better. If they had done all three of those things at the same time, we'd all be driving electric cars no matter what. Right? Like smoking. Like nobody quit smoking because they wanted to, or they knew it was important, or et cetera, their health. Almost no one, right? The reason people don't smoke now is because there aren't that many places to do it and it's expensive. Yes. All right. So we need to we're going to want to be focusing on making our lives into a place where the things we want to see ourselves doing are easier and cheaper and better, right? And so that's that customization that we're talking about. You customizing what it is that you wish you were doing or not doing, and then how do we set up your specific life so it's easier, cheaper, better. Okay. And then we're going to do accommodating specific areas. Okay, so or like hacking, you could talk about this like sort of life hacking. That would be fine. And remember, I told you that being short was going to come up because listen, I'm a short person. Dr. R, you actually are kind of a short person too, but I never know that because you're always wearing heels. So I think of you in my mind as a tall person. But heels are a hack for short people.
They are.
And they're not a hack for clumsy people. So that's why I don't wear them. But that's a good example. So if I want to reach something that's above the microwave, I need a stool.
Mhm.
If I want to get to the clothes, like the socks at the bottom of my washing machine, I need a grabber. Or I need a husband. This is how I ended up with a stool and a grabber, is because I was like,
And a husband.
this was like, the stuff is high. I can't reach it. Can you get it for me? And he was like, I can get you a stool. And I was like, I can't reach the clothes in laundry. You're going to have to take over doing the laundry. He's like, I can get you a grabber.
Oh, he's smart.
Honestly, and it's awesome. You want to, there's a lot of stuff you want to be able to do in life. And frankly, I want to be able to reach the stuff on the top of the microwave,
Yes.
So that's kind of like, that's an example of hacking being short. And we're going to also talk about hacking when you're kind of like short on specific executive functioning skills too.
Yes. So over the next 3 weeks, we are going to cover executive functioning skills. We're going to break it up. Okay. So all of the skills over the next 3 weeks will be memory, focus, and effort, activation, and emotion and behavioral regulation.
Mhm.
And then the last episode will be more advanced skills.
Yeah.
Is what we're going to try to do. So that's like prioritizing, planning, time management, efficiency, procrastination.
Oh, yeah.
And we are going to discuss each one of these in depth. In each episode, we'll give you definitions, we'll give you maximizers, we'll give you examples to help you also start dialing in on where you stand. So
just a little taste of each of these to orient you for where we're headed.
Mhm.
So memory, remembering a phone number long enough to dial it, keeping track of what a person's saying in a conversation. Those kinds of things are the really basic memory functions that we're going to start with.
yes. Focus would be staying on task, like during a test, ignoring a tempting website to focus on a work task. Effort would be completing a project or laundry that you're avoiding, prioritizing, making a to-do list. Planning example would be creating a step-by-step strategy to prepare for a project that you're going to be doing or taking a trip.
So activation is the getting started, right? The finding the energy, get started, even say like tidy up your desk. Right.
Emotion regulation. This is just any type. An example would be finding a calming strategy that would work for you. That when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling angry. Behavioral regulation would be breaking down a stressful project into small tasks to meet a deadline. Organizing would be organizing, creating. I'm going to go with a digital system to organize your files. And then time management, using calendars, using timers. Those would all be examples.
Efficiency, right? This is delegating, or can you go to the grocery store and sort of shop for the whole week of meals and meal prep? People, I think they do efficiency.
Yes.
Well, procrastination, or rather like not procrastinating. I know everybody knows what that is. So if we have said anything in this kind of jumble in the last couple of minutes that resonated with you, you're going to want to stay tuned.
Absolutely. Okay, time for the crown jewels.
All right, so crown jewels for today. Remember, we're just laying the foundation for you. How do we begin to think about all the executive functioning skills? And the first thing is responsibility, not shame.
Crown jewel number 2, willpower is a lie.
And crown jewel number 3, we're going to customize so that your life and living the life you want to live is easier, cheaper, and better.
Thank you for joining us today. Please stick with us as we teach you more about executive functioning and how to have brain wealth. We ask that you follow us, like us if you like us, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Rich Thoughts, Poor Jokes. We hope today's episode offered insight or possibility, a new perspective on your mental wealth journey. Tune in next week for more strategies to drive success. Please consider subscribing or sharing this episode with someone else because your mental wealth matters. And a few rich thoughts and poor jokes can help you live with abundance.